One thing I noticed is that there are so many good free-to-play decks in Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links, but most of them are only good to like a certain extent. So what if we took a look at a deck that didn't allow ban lists or limitations to control how good it could actually be? Welcome to the Duel Links Hub. Let's get right into today's video. Alrighty guys, this is a completely free-to-play LunaLight deck that can be found in the Judgment Force box. I strongly suggest that you keep it fully LunaLight, but we're making an exception for the Temperance and the Karibo because they make up our defense system. When an opponent tries to attack you, you can discard one of these cards and then take no damage during that attack. And also, these two cards are actually found with tickets, so they're pretty easy to get. Next, we take a look at the LunaLight Purple Butterfly. When this card is in the grave, you can banish it and special summon one LunaLight from your hand. And when this card is in your hand, you can activate a second effect that gives a LunaLight on the field 1000 attack. Next up, we take a look at the LunaLight Crimson Fox. You want to get this card into the graveyard by means of effects. So when an opponent destroys this card with a card effect, or when you LunaLight Fuse, it activates an effect that reduces your opponent's monster's attack to 0. And you can also stop quick play spells from targeting you, which will give you and your opponent 1000 health. Next up, we take a look at the LunaLight Emerald Bird. When this card is normal summoned, you can discard one LunaLight from your hand and then draw another card. And when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can bring back one LunaLight from the grave onto the field, but not this card unfortunately. Its card effect only works on other LunaLights, which is the downside to this card. But next up, we're going to look at the White Rabbit. When this card is normal summoned, you can actually choose to bring back a LunaLight that's in the grave onto the field. Then once you do that, you can activate another effect that sends any back row card of your opponent right back to his hand, which is pretty good. Next up, we look at the LunaLight Fusion. This one explains itself. It's how you fuse into the Cat Dancer and Saber Dancer. You can only do it once per turn. Next up, we look at the Reincarnation Dance. Very controversial one. Not many people use it, but I love using it because it's actually very good for a one-turn kill combo. What happens is when a LunaLight is destroyed, you can choose 2 LunaLights of your choice and bring them to your hand, which is very good for a one-turn kill combo that I might show you if we are lucky enough to get it during a match. With all that being said, let's actually take a look at the character you'll need and the boss monsters of this deck before I show you what it can actually do when it comes to a battle. So the character you're going to need is Yami Yugi, or any character that possesses the skill Destiny Draw. What happens is when you lose 2000 health, you're allowed to pick any card from the deck and then draw that specific card, which comes in handy when you don't have a LunaLight Fusion. Since you have a Karibo and a Temperance on your deck, you can actually maximize the control of this skill because you can choose which attacks are gonna hit you and which ones are not, meaning when you need the Destiny Draw and a monster does 2000 damage, you can actually take that hit and then just stop all the other hits from hitting you. Now let's take a look at the boss monsters of this deck before we dive right into the battles. So the boss monsters of this deck are the Saber Dancer and the Cat Dancer. The Saber Dancer cannot be targeted by any card effects. It also gains 200 attack for each LunaLight in the grave, and when this card is sent to the graveyard and you have another fusion monster which is a Cat Dancer on the field, you can actually give that fusion monster 3000 attack for that one turn. Next up, we look at the Cat Dancer. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, and it also takes 100 health away every single time it attacks, and you can choose to send one LunaLight from the field onto the grave so that this card can attack the monster twice.
You into your car. You're always wanting something more. Let your energy match the frequency of the love for yourself. It'll speak for itself. You place your way Your poison soul can learn to grow. Can you take the time to realize that acceptance lies in your eyes, in your eyes? You were made for this life. You're not too jaded or lost. So ask yourself as to what your true intentions are. Are you like checking yourself wrong? When your goals match the energy requested, it will come back tenfold. These jealousy wounds you do your core. There's always something you want more of. You choose to breathe this damage. Why don't you understand this? Don't have to be so manic. You're on top of the world, but you fall so low. Yeah, it's like you're losing your mind. It happens every single time you choose the limelight. If it's not